So you guys may be sitting here thinking, okay, you're saying Republicans are trash, Democrats are trash, what do we do? You got to find people that are actually going to challenge the establishment, that are going to clean up DC, that are going to vote for term limits, that are actually going to do things not in the interests of themselves. And that could be a Democrat, that could be a Republican, and you're going to have to challenge your own beliefs and thoughts to be able to do that.
It's like a cult mentality. You can trick a person into believing things that aren't really there. They have changed the definition of a recession, so people start to feel like it. So basically, the public, the general public, is believing the media. Keep people ignorant and they will stay on that plantation. They don't want financial literacy. Get on TV and talk about financial literacy and see how quick they shut you down. No one wants that unity because both parties know. How can you unite a country? They are totally against unification. It should not be a business to get rich and become prosperous from being in politics. Politics should be from the heart and for the people. And until we change that, we're gonna get the same old results.
This is Sparta!
Welcome back to Spartan Leadership. I'm your host, Josh Kosnick. And this week we got leadership in review. So my man, Emmanuel, is in the studio.
Yes,
Welcome, E. Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's been like, what, a couple weeks?
It's been a couple weeks.
Yes.
So we got lots to talk about. We're going to focus on two main things today. But if this is your first time tuning in, we have two different formats within the show. One is normal leadership interviews, and leadership in review. This episode is where we actually discuss politics, society, all different types of stuff.
Yes.
And show you how to have a contentious conversation about contentious topics and do it in a respectful manner. A lost art in society. And we got this idea sitting in the tasting room, having a cigar. Yokes was drinking coffee.
I was drinking coffee.
And I was drinking a bourbon. And we were wondering how in a cigar room, in a cigar bar across the nation, we're having contentious conversations with people of all socioeconomic classes, people all different political beliefs.
Yes.
And we're able to have that in a friendly manner and walk out still being friends, and how that doesn't happen across the U.S. So we want to replicate that in these episodes where we are able to talk about tough things.
Yes.
And disagree and agree on certain
without
things.
disowning each other.
Without disowning each other. We've talked about that numerous times. So that's what we try to do in these episodes, and give you some of our thoughts and opinions on what's going on in society and how we can potentially come up with some solutions to better our society. It starts with us. The people are the power, but only when we can unite. And that's why our government tries to keep us as divided as possible. There's a great scene in the movie A Bug's Life where the grasshoppers are controlling the ants and the food supply and the heavy labor and all that different stuff. And the head grasshopper illustrates, showing that the ants outnumber them 100 to 1. And once they realize that, they will become the power. So us as citizens need to realize that only a few hundred politicians and ultra rich are controlling us right now and trying to divide us right now, and we need to unite. So with that being said, we're going to dive right in and get to topic number one. Topic number one, hot off the press, Trump is indicted again. Your boy is indicted again.
I love it. I love it.
He is a big Trump fan, always clarifying that he loves Trump's policies.
Yes.
And that's, it's been interesting for E because he's talked about some of his friends disowning him because he likes Trump.
Yes.
Which is just a unique, interesting thing. Did you ever disown anyone for liking Obama?
No. I mean, I really don't care what you like. You can like whatever you want to like.
You disown anyone for liking Biden?
No. I feel sorry for him, but I don't disown him. So.
Yeah, because you always said you reap what you sow.
You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow, Chicago, Black America. I mean, America, period. I don't want to hear anyone complaining about gas prices. I don't want to hear anyone complaining about food prices because this is what you voted for. So you reap what you sow. And that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes.
Well, interestingly enough, before we get into the indictment, as we're on this topic, Biden and the White House keep bragging about record employment and record economy. Bidenomics is so awesome. Harrisonomics. And I'm just wondering, what America are we living in?
I don't have a clue.
What America are they living in? Because everyone we see is struggling.
It's like a cult mentality. You can trick a person into believing things that aren't really there. They have changed the definition of a recession, so people start to feel like it. If you say you are not in a recession, but you're really in a recession, you start to believe it. If a doctor told you there's nothing wrong with you and you have cancer, you believe the doctor. So basically, the public, the general public, is believing the media, they're believing the White House, and reality is telling a total different story. So I hear people complaining about gas, rent, people can't buy a house, but then you'll have the mainstream media and you'll have the Democratic Party saying, we're doing such a great job with crime. Are you kidding me? The schools, LeBron James has a school. And I think I've said this on our podcast before with our old host. I said, that's just a school in name. What's behind this school? Let's see some test scores. No one is math efficient in this whole school.
Eighth grade.
Eighth grade.
Yeah.
So
in the last 3 years. And what's interesting about that, and obviously they can't put that all on LeBron.
No.
What I will put on LeBron, because he's not teaching, what I will put on LeBron is the idiotic decision he made when he started the school, instead of making it private and getting some better systems in as far as how to reach these kids, these inner city kids, he made it public and matched it with the Akron school system and what they're teaching.
Which is horrible. Which is horrible.
Which is one of the worst in the country.
Yeah.
So that's where you can blame LeBron for sure. No, he's not in the classroom teaching and all the LeBron defenders out there. Cool. I hear you. However, when he started the school, he chose to make it public instead of private. That's the biggest mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my thing with LeBron is what are you starting a school for? Are you starting a school to make a change, or are you starting a school to get a better name? And I think he's not hands-on with it. Oh, just put my name on this and I'm going my way. And like I was telling my buddy earlier, if LeBron want to make an instant change, something that we can all agree upon, instead of being so anti-America and so pro-BLM, if you're really pro-BLM, I want to hear LeBron get on TV and tell black youth, stop killing each other. You know, let's do a better job respecting. Go to school and learn. You know, make it cool to learn. Don't make it cool for a young male to want to wear dresses. I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that, but if that's what you want to do, but don't encourage that. You know, let's fight the problem that's at hand. I've never heard him get on TV and say black on black crime needs to stop. It's out of control. You know what LeBron will get on TV and say? That white cop chased this person down, and white races is the biggest threat to black America, which is a lie. You know, it's a total lie. It's a total lie.
Hey, we forgot to talk about what we were smoking today. And I got to talk about this cigar because it is dang good. This is the Tatuaje Monster from the original pack, which Tatuaje is a boutique brand. And if you haven't tried Tatuaje and you have them in your local stores, your cigar stores, I highly recommend. They make some great cigars. This one is fantastic. And I gave you a Luciano Lancero.
I could say the Luciano sound like a mob's daughter. This is little Luciano, but that Tatiana, you know, I tell you all the time, I can't pronounce all of. And every time you say these foreign Tatiana, I say, where I come from, it's going to be a little kid with that name next month. Tatuaje. Hey, this is my son named Tatuane. But
hey, more power to them if they love a cigar. I just named one of my kittens Arturo. After Arturo Fuente.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Sound like a little macho kitten, like Puss in Boots. Hey, this is not my catnip. But
so we got some kittens out here at the farm to help us with any mice or rodent problems that could get into the barns or hopefully not the house. My wife would freak out. But anyhow, so let's get back on topic. Trump indictment. I want to read. I kept this graphic because it is very interesting I want everyone to get this. So Trump's indicted again. But let's go through the 3 indictments that he's had.
Yes, all these horrible crimes that he committed.
These horrible crimes. But hold on. On June 7th, FBI releases documents to Congress alleging the Bidens took a $10 million bribe from Burisma.
Who got him arrested the next day?
Hold on. We're getting there. June 8th. Jack Smith indicts Trump in Mar-a-Lago dox case. Okay, now let's remember, Trump or Obama or any sitting president has the right to take documents.
Presidents.
Not
correct? Vice presidents.
Not vice presidents.
Not congressmen.
So the same thing Biden did, but he was a vice president. So one is legal, one is illegal.
Yep.
But Trump gets indicted by Jack Smith, who's the new liberal hero. July 26th, Hunter Biden goes to court and rejects sweetheart plea deal after it was revealed DOJ tried to give him blanket immunity from future prosecutions.
Let me guess. What happened after that?
July 27th, Jack Smith adds more charges for Trump in the Mar-a-Lago case.
You gotta be kidding me.
Hey, but let's go back to this quick. That July 26th thing, that's a really big deal. So Hunter Biden goes to court and rejects sweetheart plea deal. That it was revealed the DOJ tried to give him blanket immunity from future prosecutions.
So the prosecutors were basically being his lawyer.
The DOJ was on his side, which is crazy. So you've weaponized the 3-letter agencies for your family because your kid's a fuck up.
Yeah.
Any of us will have to hold our kids accountable or let our kids get held accountable by the government, but not Hunter Biden, who is, oh, and by the way, so he didn't pay taxes. Remember, Democrats, when you got on Trump for legally avoiding taxes because his tax accountants are smart. Now, instead of demanding changes in the tax code for the ultra rich, you blamed the president.
And they wanted to lock him up for paying
And you
his
wanted
taxes.
to lock him up for paying the appropriate amount of taxes. Now, but Hunter Biden was about to get blanket immunity, which means if he was found to have had sex with an underage girl, because there's
You know, he's untouchable.
But hold on, because there's documented evidence of that with pictures on his laptop. I've seen them. You can go on the internet. You'll find them. If he was found prosecuted for doing illegal drugs, which we all know he has.
Having sex bringing prostitutes across state lines.
All the different things so this was going to give him blanket immunity for not paying his taxes. He was not going to get charged for anything else, past or future.
Teflon Don.
Okay.
Untouchable.
So that was Hunter Biden, untouchable. But July 27th, Jack Smith adds more charges to the Trump Mar-a-Lago case. But wait, there's more.
What?
July 31st, Hunter Biden's former business partner testifies to Congress that Joe Biden was on over 20 calls with his son's business partners and that Burisma execs pressured them to fire the prosecutor. But on August 1st, just a few days ago, Jack Smith indicts Trump again, this time for the deadly January 6th insurrection.
What's the chances of that?
But the deadly Trump insurrection, which was all BS and staged because there was multiple 3-letter agency people in the crowd that day. So it was an instigation and a staging of a supposed coup, which is just interesting. So what do you got on this?
For all the Trump haters that are jumping for joy, these indictments could be the greatest gift that Trump could ever have. His power and his strength is just growing like a big snowball. It's just amassing to become just this big snowball. But every time Trump gets indicted, his popularity goes up. More people are backing him. And I think like this last federal indictment, it opens up a can of worms for the DOJ because now Trump can find all the stuff. He can cross-examine people now. And I think the whole thing is illegal because what they did when they went to the grand jury, they left out the key part of that speech, go peacefully protest. Mm-hmm. And they left that out, which is a crime within itself, you know. And if Trump has the right lawyers, they will flip this right back on the DOJ. But as far as the DOJ, I know they're doing wrong, but I really blame the Republican Party for letting this stuff get out of hand so far. Where
we've talked about that. They're the establishment.
They have been right behind the DOJ. Behind the scenes, they want Trump out of there. You know, this one-sided, this one-tiered justice system.
Two-tiered.
Well, it's supposed to be two-tiered, but it's really one tier. You got the Republicans and the Democrat all together trying to get one guy.
Oh, I'm saying two-tiered, meaning rules for thee, not for me.
Yeah. But the established Republicans should be ashamed of themselves. They could have never pulled this on the Democrats. They unite. You won't see one Democrat come out and say Joe Biden should be impeached. Not one. You had so many Republicans wanting Trump impeached for a simple phone call, and I blame the Republican voters. How do you continue to go vote for Mitch McConnell or Mitt Romney, and then you complain? Don't cry. Don't cry, Republicans, because you go out, you vote for these same rhinos all the time, and the Democrats are the same way. So I don't know what can we do with society now?
We got to get smarter. We have to get smarter and see that these people are evil and that they are controlled. They're saying that this side is the problem or that side is the problem and pointing at each other and getting us, again, as we talked about in the past, identity politics, to pick a team like we're Bears Packers and dig our heels in and make sure that they just continue retaining the power, which is what I alluded to or talked about with the Bug's life, is they keep us stupid and keep us unaware and hating each other and race baiting each other and calling each other ists and sexist bigots.
But Josh, they have mastered it.
Well, they've been doing it for over 100 years.
They are so good.
So you have if masterful work or a mastery comes in 10,000 hours. They're at millions of hours of practicing this.
The brainwashing is so strong. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she just blamed the white man for everything. I'm like, what year are we in? Let the crutches go and walk on your own. And I had to tell her, I said, you make excuses for this. Well, blacks don't have transportation. It's voter suppression or whatever, this and that and this. And I asked her a serious question. If you can't get up and go to your kid's parent conference, but as soon as the Democratic Party ring that bell and say, come vote for me, they're waiting out in line. They're going to the polls. Blacks have came out in a record number. But you came out. I don't hear that going up to the schools. I don't hear crime going down in a record number. But you will go up for this Democratic Party and wait out in line and go vote for Joe Biden, a known racist, but you won't invest that time into your kids' education. And then they wonder why there's no results from this same insanity. They say you repeat the same thing over and over again.
That's the definition of insanity. Yep.
Thank you, my friend.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. And we've talked about that frequently. Is you have every 2 to 4 years, these Democrats come in and tell the black community they're going to fix this, and it's all the white man's fault, and then they go and do the opposite of that.
And if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. But I tell you, I jump for joy. I hate to be that guy who said, I told you so. But, Chicago, you'll listen to me next time, Chicago. You want to get tough. You want to get lighter on crime. You want a no bail system. You want to let the thugs and hooligans right back out on the street. You want these beautiful open borders, New York. You want these beautiful open borders. How dare somebody be in this country, fight for this country, sweat blood and tears for this country, and someone can sneak in here illegally and jump in front of the line, and a veteran who fought a war for this country have to sleep out on the streets, and an illegal immigrant get a plush hotel, a $500 a night hotel on top of that, ordering room service and saying, we don't like that. We want our own food. We bring our own food in. The arrogance of that. But, you reap what you sow. New York is getting it. Chicago is getting it. Madison is going to get it. The world is going to get it. And all I'm going to do is say, I told you so. I told you so.
Well, it's unfortunate, too, because it's on our dime.
Yeah.
Right? The government has no money. We are the money.
Yeah.
Right? And so you think about that, and now Democrats, like in California, are going to promise, or are promising, Gavin Newsom's promising reparations to black people.
He can't even, everyone's moving out of California. Him and DeSantis.
But whoever stays, I'm just saying, that's what he's promising.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what's interesting about that, and I've brought up this point in the past too, like during COVID, instead of during the lockdown, or as long as you're going to keep us locked down or people out of a job, why not eliminate their taxes?
Yeah.
During that time period. Or instead of reparations, why not eliminate their taxes?
Yeah.
You did it for Native Americans.
Yeah.
If you're truly going to give reparations, why not eliminate taxes for black folk? That would do much more.
Because it'll make sense. They don't want anything to make sense.
No, I know. I'm giving a solution.
Yeah.
And I'm stating it out loud so that hopefully enough people will hear it.
I think that's beautiful.
To go, said. Yeah, why wouldn't we do that?
Eliminate the taxes. That's reparations.
If you want, if we're truly going to go down that path, which I'm not arguing for reparations because I think that they don't make sense. No one here. You didn't experience slavery. Perhaps your great-great-great-grandfather did.
I take that reparations check, though.
And that's what they're going to prey on is the greed of that to buy the votes.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. Where's that money going to end up?
First of all.
Hold on. No. Where's the money going to end up? Let's say you got $100,000 right now.
It's going to end up right back into the economy. It's not going to be invested wisely. It's not really going to, when you're not a smart person with money, you're not going to go buy property. The majority of people are not going to go buy property. They're not going to invest that money. It's coming right back as a consumer. It's going to go right back to the car dealership. The establishment and the big corporations, they're going to get that money right back. So, and that's like, it's almost like giving someone a loan to come spend with you. Here's a rebate, but you got to spend it with me. You're
nailing it.
Yeah.
So you're nailing it because this is exactly what they're going to go buy a car. They're going to go buy some Jordans.
Stimulus packages.
That's exactly what happens. So it's a transfer. It's taken money out. It's taken my wallet out of my left pocket and put it in my right pocket.
Yeah.
There's an intermediate where I give it to, we're giving reparations to black men and women, right? We're going to give them $100,000. Yeah. But the vast majority have no financial education. How do I know that? And that's not a black-white thing. That's a literal American thing.
Most Americans don't have
Most Americans don't know, right? Yeah. So that's where all these stimulus packages end up back in the CEO's pockets.
And they're going to make sure that you don't know. People like you are a threat to a lot of people because that's the main thing. Keep people ignorant and they will stay on that plantation. They don't want financial literacy. That's why LeBron James will never talk about that. He'll keep it over there. Black Lives Matter. Get on TV and talk about financial literacy and see how quick they shut you down. They'll shut them down tomorrow. So, yeah.
Yeah, he'd get canceled real quick.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, but that's the thing is that people don't understand with reparations. So even if you got it, it's just a transfer back to the man or the white man, if you will, the CEOs of these major companies, Amazon, Microsoft, Nike.
Coming right back.
Right? It's coming right back to them.
You would love for reparations if you're one of those corporations, but at the end of the day, it's never going to happen. They virtue signal, just like student debt forgiveness. Biden knew that wasn't going to work. And all the people that really got behind that are not looking. It's more rich white college kids who go to who get student debt. It was going to bail them out. It's like bailing out the banks. It's like bailing out the automobile industry. It only helped out the people at the top. It didn't do anything for the lower half of the people. So it's just virtual signaling at its best. It really
Buying votes.
Buying votes, exactly.
Yep.
Buying votes.
Right.
Yep.
So let's get back to the Trump thing. Any other thoughts with that? Because like you said, it's making him more and more powerful every time they try and do it. It's like they're trying to here's my thing in that question. If Trump is not a threat, right, and he's no chance to become the president again, why are you so scared of him?
You fear the truth. Everyone fears the truth. People just think it's the Democrats that's doing all of this. It's so many Republican judges and it's so many Republican congressmen and senators who are fearful of having to do the right thing. I always tell people, if you had a corrupt boss that lets you work from home, you never had to come punch a time clock, you can take all the cigarette breaks you want, and he give you a bonus on your check every month, you'll love him. Then you get a boss that comes in and cleaning up the company and say, you have to be in the office. You're not going to be able to get all of that extra child care. You're not going to, we're getting to the bottom line in this company. You're going to hate that CEO. You're going to be like, he's going to make me work. I can't go sleep at the wheel anymore. And that's what Trump did. All of these sweetheart deals and all of this pork belly money and all of these kickbacks. And I always tell people, you follow the money. If you are for wars and you take money from major corporations and big pharma, you're not going to do anything for the people. And we always say there's only 3 candidates that ever had their own money: Ross Perot, Donald Trump, and Kennedy. And you can tell all of those guys no one loved those guys. No one loved those guys.
You want to know a fun fact? There was actually one more. Now, this person had a lot of donors, and the biggest donor was Donald Trump. Jesse Jackson.
Oh, yes.
So they want to claim that that Donald Trump's a racist, but he funded Jesse Jackson's 2 runs as president.
Yeah.
You want to claim that Donald Trump's a racist, but he's done more for the black community in New York City than most other business people have ever done.
HBCUs funded them the most money ever. Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Freed the most black men from prison. Donald Trump. Tried to save the black community from open borders. Donald Trump. And let's see how these open borders work out for the black community.
Well, I think it's a bigger issue than that. I think it's a big issue for all of America. We touched on it, I think, briefly in our last conversation, how all these military-age men are getting let. It's a Trojan horse.
Oh, yeah. And then a lot of Chinese scientists and stuff like that are coming over here. Some of this stuff is just like out of a Hitchcock or Orson Welles movie. They're finding laboratories with syphilis, AIDS, and did you hear about this laboratory that they found in like San Francisco? And Joe Biden's allowing these secret laboratories, secret police forces.
Well, hold on. This is what people need to connect the dots with. If, and we don't know this as fact, but if Biden did accept money from the Chinese or from Burisma.
I'm pretty sure they got a paper trail and they got recordings of
But hold on, but let's just follow this. If he did, then what is that money for? They're not just paying him to pay him because they like good old Joe.
Yeah.
It's for favors.
Oh, yeah.
So, for instance, if, the Chinese spy balloon that flew over the country.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the only one. That was the one that got caught by someone in Montana.
Yeah.
So they'd gotten all the way to Montana before a citizen blew the whistle on it and got to the news.
Because our government was behind letting it, and Joe Biden's calling the shots. He's like, let them fly through.
But again, it's like, okay, well, Biden, if he took money, he owes someone something, which means he's compromised.
Think about this too, John. The Chinese are no one's dummies. Wow, that's the art of blackmailing. Mm-hmm. Have it on a recording, and then you can threaten, if you don't come with this policy, we'll let America know the truth behind this. And not only was it to me, I can't say this for 100% sure, but I really feel you can listen to some of the recordings between some of the phone conversations between him and Hunter, him and his son. His son is out there blackmailing him too. Like, I will let the rabbit, if you don't do what I tell you to do, Dad, I will expose you. So.
Which is interesting relationship.
Very interesting.
Right? So to blackmail your own father. But
back to Trump, though. I wanted to make this point. I get into it with a lot of my Democratic friends. Well, he told people in Alabama or Georgia to go find. There's a difference between saying it's perfectly legal to say, hey, I think it's not a fair election. Can you go find, maybe there's 11,000 votes hidden over here. Go find those votes. He didn't say, now, Trump would be guilty if he said, go fabricate or go forge 11,000 votes. Make them up. Mm-hmm. Just make them up. You're done, Trump. But he said, go find them. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying, go peacefully march? If anyone can tell me what's wrong with that, it doesn't make sense. They just want a reason to try to get him in trouble.
Well, because the media and propaganda machine did such an effective job of painting him as a racist. Mm-hmm. They did a really good job of brainwashing people. And again, for those that, I am not a Trump fan. He is.
Yep.
My biggest rub with him is, if you're as a true leader, because that's what I study, leadership as a leadership coach, is being able to unite. And I think he could do a far better job of uniting all of us.
That's hard, though, Josh.
I know. We've talked about that to
with the media. They don't want you united.
Well, but again, he's created his own pathways to be able to communicate without their media. That's what he did so well on Twitter, and now he's doing on True Social. But so he's created his own pathways that don't involve the media, where he can speak without being filtered or cut off or spliced or whatever.
Both sides have mastered divide. United we stand. Divided we fall. Both sides. When Obama was putting on this masquerade, the charade of uniting while stabbing working class in the back with NAFTA and TTP, the right, the Rush Limbaughs of the world, they were exposing that. They didn't want that unity, even though it was a false sense of unity. But then you had people coming in, he's not a real American. He wasn't born over here. How can he be president? No one wants that unity because both parties know. How can you unite a country their whole game is up.
Yeah.
If people start to come together, they are totally against unification.
Well, that's what most people don't understand. Like Democrats like to throw Fox News in our face all the time for people that don't think like them.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm pretty well libertarian if I had to put myself in a box. So Fox News, I don't identify with either. What people need to understand is Fox News is controlled opposition.
Yeah.
And so for a Democrat to argue, well, oh, you just listen to Fox News. No, actually we don't. And most Republicans shouldn't, because it's fake opposition. It's controlled opposition.
You can say what you want to say about Fox News. Fox News had the best. And Tucker Carlson used to be on my hit list because he pushed that Iraqi war. You know, he was all for it. You're unpatriotic if you didn't go there. Hopefully he learned from that. But beyond that, after he repented and cleansed his soul, he became the best. That's why they fired him.
Mm-hmm.
He would give it to the Republicans, dare Lindsey Graham to come on his show, Trey Gowdy. He'd call him out because he was exposing them. And the Republican Party is pathetic. I would never, if you were in trouble and you had to have a lawyer and a party was your lawyer, the Republican Party is the worst. They will go in and read evidence and come out, instead of defending you, they go and say, well, we just got to go through a trial, instead of coming out and saying, this is all phony. This is all a farce. They won't do that. But Tucker Carlson, even Fox has people that disagree with each other. The rest of these news stations is just one-sided, totally one-sided.
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, I agree. I'm just saying that for Fox News as a whole, it is owned and controlled media.
Oh, yeah.
To control the opposition and make sure, like, to make you think that they're on your side.
Controlled opposition, yeah.
It's controlled opposition. Tucker did a good job, and that's why they got rid of him.
Yeah. You put me up on that. That's why they fired Tucker, because he got out of line.
He got out of their line.
Yep.
With the controlled opposition line.
Yep.
He actually is opposition.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to control him. That wasn't going to happen. So just real interesting stuff. So you guys may be sitting here thinking, okay, Josh E., you're saying Republicans are trash, Democrats are trash. What do we do? You got to find people that are actually going to challenge the establishment, that are going to clean up D.C., that are going to vote for term limits, that are actually going to do things not in the interests of themselves.
That's both parties.
Both
Stop
parties.
voting in these snakes. Just look at everyone who will raise their hand and support the Ukrainian war, which I don't agree with. But just look at who's voting for that war and who's standing up saying, no, I'm against that war. You can count them on a handful. It's probably 5 or 6, 8, maybe 8 Republicans who's pretty much against the war. You got to look at people like back in the day, Dennis Kucinich, Russ Feingold. These were Democrats who had the balls to stand up against that illegal Iraqi war, but nowadays they're all on the same page. Who will go against Big Pharma? Who will go against the weapons industrial complex, military industrial complex? You vote for people like that. So as long as Republicans are steady voting in the Mitch McConnells, the Mitt Romneys, I don't want to hear from the Republican Party. Same as the Democratic Party. You ask who's a good Democrat? Oh, Bernie was it Bernie Sanders? He's an establishment guy now.
He's been there 40 plus years.
AOC, she's established.
She's a puppet.
A puppet. All of them are puppets.
They're puppets. They vote in people. They compromise them so that they have to do what they're told to do.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what they do.
It should
They
be
get
term
people in there.
limits. It should not be a business to get rich and become prosperous from being in politics. Politics should be from the heart and for the people. And until we change that, we're going to get the same old results.
Dianne Feinstein is now wheeled into the chamber.
Can't even vote on her own.
And she can't vote on her own. Her handlers tell her, just say yes. Say yay. If you guys didn't see that.
Yay!
I mean, are you serious?
What about the guy from Pennsylvania?
The guy that doesn't have any brain function
Can't
left?
even talk. What about Joe Biden?
What was his name?
I forget his name.
Big bald dude.
Yeah, it'll come to me.
Anyhow, but he can't even talk.
No.
So, all right. So that's the solution behind what you have to look for. You have to look for people that are going to challenge the establishment, that aren't just going to vote party line, that actually are going to do what's in the best interest of us.
The people. Fight for you, yeah.
So, and that could be a Democrat, that could be a Republican, depending on where you stand. It could be voting for the opposite aisle. And you're going to have to challenge your own beliefs and thoughts to be able to do that.
And also, you got to find people who just don't talk about it. Let their actions speak. Because Bernie talked the right talk. But he was so
And
established.
then he fell in line as soon as they decided to screw him over and go all Hillary.
That's what I love about Trump. You get Bernie. Bernie's such a sellout. Don't talk about Hillary's emails. Enough with the damn it email. That's not Trump. Trump don't care who you are, and he's not going to get on your team if he don't like you. You know.
One of my favorite clips of Trump. This is actually when I think most people started to like him. Was in the Republican primaries when he was first running, and he called out Jeb Bush. Because the Bush family is crooked as all could be.
That was classic.
And he called out the crowd saying that they were all, establishment donors. These are all your donors, Jeb. I tried to get tickets for my people to come in here, and they told me, no, this is for the ultra rich and donors. And
classic.
And Jeb's face is just like,
That's where Trump did mess up, though, as much as I love Trump. He got in bed with Krispy Kreme Christie, whatever that guy's name.
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme Christie.
Well, so to his defense in that regard, he might have been figuring out who was who at that time. Because he hasn't been in Washington his whole life like these other people have.
Yeah.
So he may have been trying to figure out who's real and who's not.
You never hire a snake. He humbled him and humiliated Christie after Christie did all of that talking. He said, Christie wanted a job. He said no. But then he brought him back on, and Christie is the one who hired Ray for the FBI.
Yeah. No, I know.
And Ray has been on Trump heels all of that time.
Yep.
But I know you know about this guy. There's only one guy that I could ever see replacing Trump, and I could sleep good at night. The Vivek, whatever his name is.
Vivek Patel.
Oh, I like that guy.
Yeah, he's very smart, and he's going about his campaign in a very interesting way and getting on podcasts and non-mainstream sources.
But he comes prepared. He comes with his gun loaded.
He's very smart.
I like a person who can get on TV and don't just take abuse. He can rebuke any falsehoods, and he give it to you in real time. And CNN has just been getting clobbered. Anyone who puts him on, he comes with receipts. And a lot of these guys come unprepared and let anybody. You're not going to tell me it's raining outside when the sky is out here blue and the
I think if you
out.
put Vivek up against DeSantis, Vivek would school him.
Vivek will school anybody.
Like he's a smart man.
I think he'll school anyone.
RFK Jr., I like what he's doing. I don't think the Democrats are going to Bernie him. They're not going to allow him to be a candidate. But I like the fact that he's out there speaking what he believes to be true.
Yeah.
Right? So he's calling out some of these establishments. He's calling out Fauci. He's calling out all the bullshit from the COVID stuff. Yeah. And I know a lot of you don't want to hear that because you bought into it. But again, you were brainwashed. We were taught through fear and like the largest propaganda push ever.
Yeah.
Daily COVID counters.
Yeah.
Every time you turn on the news, there's talking about COVID. This many people died. And hospitals were paid to tell people to count higher numbers than they actually were.
Yeah. And got bonuses for that too.
And bonuses. And those are published. You can look them up. So it's good that he's calling out. So even though he's a Democrat, that's again someone that's willing to challenge the establishment.
I like him. He doesn't possess that total package. His biggest downfall, he comes off as meager and weak with his voice.
Because he had a vocal injury.
And that hurts him so because he's so pathetic when he sounds like Katharine Hepburn, Golden Pond, and people don't it hurts him so bad because Trump come out like, "Ooh, take that. How dare you?"
Well, so again, it's different strokes for different folks in that regard. But again, he had a vocal injury for those that didn't know. And that's why his voice is the way it is.
It hurts him big time.
It does. I think it does as well, because especially the people won't take the time to understand that this was an injury. And,
you just look at him so meager and weak.
So, and he's not. You see that dude with his shirt off doing push-ups?
He's ripped.
Yeah.
He looked like me.
I don't know about all that. You got to work on that push-up game some. All right, let's get into topic 2 before we go down too many other paths. Topic 2, we got The Sound of Freedom.
Great movie, I heard.
So, interesting about this is most major media has been either not talking about it at all, or beating it up, which is just crazy. Is like if there's one thing you think we could unite on, wouldn't it be the sex trafficking of our children?
You would hope so.
The utter abuse and disgusting treatment of youth. You think we could unite on that, and we can't even unite on that. You got Democrats out there that won't go see the movie. And I'm talking just Democrat people, like normal people like you and I.
Yeah.
But our friends that are Democrats, they won't even go see the movie, won't even support the movement because they were told not to by the Democrat and like made fun of.
Yeah.
But they'll go see Barbie or Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Which, fine. Like, go see your movies. Like, my girls went to see Barbie.
Yeah.
Cool. But, and they didn't actually like it that much. They liked the beginning of it some, and then the end of it got too male patriarchy, and kind of bashing men. But either way.
A lot of theaters didn't even, wouldn't allow that movie to be played.
And people need to remember, too, that Disney owned it for 5 years and refused to play it. This movie was made a number of years ago.
Under Disney?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Disney owned the rights. So Angel Studios bought it out.
Oh, okay. I get it. It was almost like a movie that was exposing Disney. I think what's happening is it's a group of elites that are into that stuff, that are into grooming, that are into pedophiles and all of that other stuff. And
that are pedophiles.
They're watching each other's back, and they don't want to be exposed. But I hear this movie's exposing, and men lie, women lie, numbers never lie. And I heard this movie's doing awesome with the numbers. And you would think, as a theater, you want the most popular movie in there instead of a film like The Little Mermaid bombing. And this movie's, going up the charts, and you don't want this movie in there?
My girls did like Little Mermaid, though. But no, I feel what you're saying. What's interesting to me, so I do think you're right. I want to talk a little bit about that. Epstein and that list still hasn't come out.
Oh, they're going to suppress that? They're going to smother that? It's like anything with government.
Well, so people got to ask, why? Why?
It's exposure. It's going to expose
who?
The people that are behind the scenes that were at that island that you would like, he was there. Look at Bill Gates and all of these guys are already trying to clean up. Oh, I just visited him once or twice. And Donald Trump's exposing him like, I never liked the guy. And,
Clinton was there 26 times.
Yeah.
So there's a picture of Bill Clinton in a dress there.
Yeah.
A painting.
He's got a painting of him. Yeah.
So, and there's video cameras in every single room on that island. And here's the other thing. You think that's the only one?
Well, the government's...
Well, you think that's the only island? Or the only place that happens?
No.
So this is what people need to know. Epstein Island wasn't just a place for pedophiles. It was a place for entrapment.
It's blackmail.
It's blackmail.
Blackmail Island.
This is how they control Hollywood. This is how they control politicians. This is how they control the elite. So you think they're all on the same page because that's what their morals say. So you go and virtue signal the same thing that Hollywood and the media is telling you to. Stop.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got LeBron James compromised. This is nothing new. This has been going on since the Hoover days. It started with Hoover. Hoover called all the shots. We think the president of the United States run things. The deep state is letting us know right now. They run everything. Bill Clinton was compromised. Obama was
Bush
compromised.
was compromised.
Bush was compromised. Trump was the only one that wasn't compromising. They're doing everything to get rid of him. It goes back to Martin Luther King. You got tapes of Hoover taping Martin Luther King, infidelity. Malcolm X couldn't be compromised. They had to kill him. So Hoover's been doing this for years. Kennedy, JFK was compromised.
Well, MLK was compromised, but he was talking unity, and they killed him for that.
Yeah, they did. They
Anytime someone's preached unity, JFK, MLK, they kill him.
No, I think they killed MLK because at the end of his life, he realized unity and all of that other stuff wasn't getting him anywhere. Following the Democratic Party wasn't getting him anywhere. When he wrote that page, I felt I've led my people into a burning building. He's not controlled anymore. You got to get rid of him. And that's like anyone else. You get out of line, they're going to get you. That's the bottom line. So
yeah. So we need to hire security
because
we're out of line.
Yeah, we do.
So because we're out of line. We're not falling in line with them, and neither should you. And the more of us that wake up, the better off we're going to be. And but billions and billions and billions of dollars are spent in sex trafficking per year.
Yeah.
It is literally a larger economy than most countries.
I feel like they're trying to...
It's disgusting.
I think they're trying... To me, this is just my personal opinion. I think they're trying to normalize the pedophiles. Like, even with this grooming, going into schools, targeting kids for all of these drag readings and stuff like, there's nothing against the drag community. I got so many good friends that do the drag stuff. You may see me at a drag show, but I'm of age to go to this.
And decipher.
It's not the drag thing. I don't want any grown up coming to read any type of material to my kids. I don't. Let that be for grown-ups. You can go do that for grown-ups all day long. I don't care what a grown-up do. Let kids be kids, just let kids be kids at the end of the day.
That's the thing, and that's where the big pushes come from is people, the line in the sand has been drawn.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got LGBT parades in New York City saying, we're coming for your kids.
That's bad.
They're telling you, we're coming for you kids.
Yeah.
Like, when someone shows you who they are, fucking believe them.
Could you imagine if they flipped the script and had some big old thugs that was in jail for rape out on probation talking about, we coming for your kids? It'd be an uproar then. We all want things two ways, and it's just, to me, everything is getting out of hand with changing these names, and you got to call a person this. What if I want people to call me the Great One, Messiah? They'd be like, get out of here. I'm not going to call you that, But I feel like I'm the Great One. So.
But I feel like I'm the Great One, so you got to call me that.
Yeah, that's what I identify as.
That's your pronouns.
I think I'm changing that to the Great One.
Your pronouns are the Great One.
Oh man! But Josh, what do you think is the solution? In the next 4 years, where do you want to see America? What do you want to? I know you're gonna see. It doesn't really affect you because you got this beautiful compound. You got your own chickens, and
yeah. But I know I got kids.
Yeah. So where do you want? I mean, what?
I care about the humanity, and I'm pro-America in general.
America first.
Well, first, and since we were just talking about the topic, I want sex trafficking to be an all-out war.
Yeah. And it should be more of an uproar. Everyone's like, oh, it's nothing.
How can we not agree on that? Like, it's nothing. Like, you think, you and I both, we love football.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the number one sex trafficking weekend of the year is?
Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Wow.
Weekend.
Wow. That ain't even
going. And guess who's all there? Guess who's all there?
Who?
At the Super Bowl.
Who's all there?
What do you think those tickets go for?
Corporations.
No. How expensive are they?
They're super expensive.
So who can afford them?
The elite.
The elite.
Yes.
Celebrities.
Yes.
Politicians.
Mm-hmm.
The uber elite. The same people that are doing some of the same bullshit.
Epstein's crew, the
compromised crew.
Yep. Sex
trafficking is, now not everyone there, so no one get that.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, it is the number one sex trafficking weekend of the year in America. This is worldwide. This is a worldwide stat, but it's these Super Bowls only happen in America.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, number one, where do I want an all-out assault. I want Epstein's list released. I want everyone that's part of this ring to be exposed and sent. We're not wasting taxpayer dollars on them.
You bring up a great point.
I want them killed.
You bring up
I want them castrated and killed.
You bring up such a great point. I've been looking at the numbers of how Joe Biden opened up the borders, and the people who profited the most was child sex traffickers. Coming over here, bringing all these kids over here with just a note without parents and stuff like that.
They have wristband.
Yeah.
And then the note that the handlers. So here's the other piece of it. Well, I'll finish your point. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm just saying, you hear no one talking about that. The news, the media doesn't talk about all of these kids over here being sex trafficked.
Well, they're not going to talk about it because they're protecting the elite. And you know who's the middleman to getting the kid to the handler? No.
Ooh.
We are.
Oh yeah, that is.
As soon as they get to our border and they have this note,
we have custody of.
And they have this note.
Yeah.
Now they get it to with the person that they're going to, and let's say it's I don't know, Robert Garcia. I'm just making up a name just so everyone knows. Cool. The U.S. government gets that 7-year-old child to this handler. So we are literally spending our taxpayer dollars and our resources to be the middleman for sex trafficking.
Yeah, that's true, because they don't even check that person out that these kids are going to.
They don't.
Wow.
So I want an all-out assault on that. Furthermore, I want us citizens to unite under the fact that we are getting screwed by evil people in D.C. Stop playing politics. If Trump's the person, great. If not, cool. We got to get whoever in that's actually going to eliminate this establishment rule.
Yeah, yeah.
This rules for me or thee, but not for me.
Yeah, yeah.
They need to, insider trading bullshit that all these congressmen and senators are making themselves rich on.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't have term limits, all these different things. Like, how do you not see How do you not see? Like, there's 19 agencies, federal agencies that touch our, or are supposed to protect us from bad food.
Yeah.
We have some of the worst food in the world.
Yeah.
Processed, and they're pushing it on us. How is organic food, natural food that I grow right out here off the apple trees, pear trees, plums, how is that more expensive than processed bullshit?
It's about the.
Why don't you guys ask yourselves these questions?
Yeah.
And like honestly think, like, who's in charge? Well, who's in charge of those federal agencies? Who's in charge of their budgets? It's the same people you keep voting for and thinking things are going to change.
That's true. That's very true.
So until we wake up, but furthermore, one of my mentors, Andy Frisell, always says that no one's coming to save us, not Trump, anything else. We have to be the ones to save us.
Yep.
And the way you do that is through personal excellence. You get yourself healthy. You're doing those push-ups, right?
I'm about to do
Getting yourself healthy, so you don't have to be on their medicine, so you don't have to eat their shit-ass food.
Eat better,
You
work
eat
out
health.
more, take a walk, you know.
Become wealthy because they want you. They like what you need because, again, if you tear down the establishment and let's say, hey, we need a break for a few years. We're not going to elect anyone. Well, we still have to regulate.
Yeah.
So we have to have some sort of regulation over ourselves in the country because otherwise crime just goes rampant.
Self-reliance.
Even more than it already is.
Yeah.
We have to be a law and order society. Trump, that was one thing I did like about his preaching was law and order.
Yeah.
Because if you're a nation of laws or you're not. And right now we've become a nation of not having laws. Like my wife doesn't even want to go to Chicago. We love Chicago in the summer.
Exactly.
We love, I want to take my kids to Wrigley.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
Because 40 plus people get shot there every weekend.
That's so true. That is so true. And what's a country without borders?
And there is no country without borders. Now, here's the thing. My libertarian friends, my true libertarian friends will say, well, we shouldn't have borders at all. Well, you have to have some sort of checks and balances of who comes in and who comes out. For taxation, if we're going to, which again, libertarians, a lot of them think no taxation. That's not going to be the case anymore. Now, could we argue for a flat tax? Like we're already way too in on taxation to reverse that back to zero. Mm-hmm. But if we could argue for a flat tax or eliminate tax underneath a certain bracket, or anytime the government does something stupid, like shut us down for COVID, or if you think that's smart, okay, let's say that's smart. But either way, then eliminate taxes on us while you're locking us down. Mm-hmm. But they're not going to do that because we fund everything, and then we fund the banks, we fund every obligation that they've overpromised, and why we're $30+ trillion in debt. That's where they're banking on, is all of us paying taxes.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they can get these banks and the feds to keep printing money for them, is because we are the worker bees that are going to pay our taxes.
It's such a well-designed machine. It's almost like the Matrix. It's like handing someone a book who can't read. They don't know what's going on at the top. They don't know the breaks that they're getting at the top. They don't know the intentional stuff that they do at the top. You know, like you say, my libertarian friends, they want open borders, a country with no borders. That's easy to say when you live in a gated community. You know, a lot of people live in these gated communities, but the rest of you guys, we want no borders, you know. Just like, what was that, Martha Venue and all
Martha's
of that?
Vineyard, yeah.
Yeah, that, it was. They
ship them up there, then like, oh no,
now the truth
just kidding.
comes out. We don't want them over here.
Well, it's real easy.
Borders.
It's real easy to talk that talk if you don't have to be affected by the outcome of it.
That's so
right?
true.
And that's where a lot of you know, I just look at my neighborhood sometimes, and some, you know, the
BLM signs in the windows
man.
and stuff, and they can't call one black person. They don't know. I've never been around them, but I donated.
I'm not kidding, man. I just shake my head at some of these liberal white women who, I was talking to Alicia about this earlier, they abdicate their responsibility or their care through voting or putting up a Black Lives Matter sign.
Did my part.
It's like, yo, bullshit. Like, go actually do something. Go work with the Boys and Girls Club. Go work with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yeah.
Hire someone that's a person of color. Oh, that's right, you're a stay-at-home mom that just puts up a black square on her Facebook and think you actually did something that mattered. You didn't. You're just virtue signaling and increasing your own status in that regard, which is selfish as fuck. Actually do something.
I should go over to your house. They'll be calling, Josh, do you know there's a big black guy out in front of your house? Jesus Christ.
We'll have a party. We'll invite over the whole football team.
Yeah, JP and the whole crew.
Yeah, we'll get them all over, and we'll have a party and see the neighbor. We'll get some looks. We'll have a barbecue in the backyard and see if they get. Yeah, we'll see how many actually want to show off their black square at that point.
I don't know, Josh. You might get the divorce rate might go up, man. So the little desperate housewives see old sexy chocolate out, be like, well, Billy doesn't have to know.
Oh man, I actually think that's a good idea. We have to do that. Eve.
Let's get it.
Oh man, but there's a lot of things I want to see change, but mainly is that personal excellence piece. Mm-hmm. Secondly, is us uniting, because if we can do that in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not saying we all have to agree on everything. I'm talking about us agreeing that we got evil people in Washington dictating our lives.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not a ton of people, of elites. What's interesting is that grasshopper analogy to ant in that bug's life. It's really, really appropriate, because there's only about a couple thousand elites we're talking about.
That runs everything.
Yeah.
The Soroses and the Gates.
And that's worldwide.
Yeah.
That's not just here in the U.S. It's a couple thousand that are
puppet masters
messing up everything for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we were talking about with the climate change bullshit and push. It's just a transference of wealth to them again. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they wouldn't be building these houses or buying these houses like Obama on the Florida coastline. Yeah. Or Obama in Martha's Vineyard. Because if oceans were truly going to rise, the banks aren't going to loan money for if they're in fear of the oceans rising and drowning out a $10 million estate.
Over there.
You wouldn't be moving there. And then third on that, you wouldn't be flying your private jet to it.
That's so true. Hypocrisy at its best.
And then those rank and file people, us, normal taxpayers, and you Democrat faction of us, you fall for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all want to live in a good earth and climate and all that different stuff. But this climate change isn't about us and the climate in and of itself. It's a transference of wealth.
That's what it is. I noticed that with the vaccine with Bill Gates. He made a ton of money with that.
And so did Fauci.
Yes. Both. Yeah. He got all kind of bonuses and
tons
stuff.
of money.
Yep.
And that's why I love Kennedy calling him out.
Yeah.
Because Kennedy was on all those committees.
The banks, Big Pharma, they all got these big kickbacks.
And who else? Oh, by the way, you shut down all the mom and pop shops and called them unnecessary. Mm-hmm. And called Amazon and Walmart and Costco and Target and all the big ones that are already wealthy necessary.
That was called a camouflage monopoly.
Yeah. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Those are two major topics. We got into a bunch of stuff, but great conversation. We really want y'all to start asking better questions to get yourselves to a personal excellence spot. Get yourself healthy, get yourself wealthy, and become less dependent on the machine.
Not only that.
Go ahead.
Don't only get wealthy financially. Get mentally wealthy. Get your mind right,
Yes.
And like I always say, become a better person and learn to disagree and not disown. One little quick thing. I brought one of my best friends from Israel. He came here today, Oren Benami. His son is in the military over in Israel, so we're just wishing him the best of luck and want him to get home in one piece.
Absolutely. Amen to that. And, by the way, one other thing. Have gobs of kids.
Yes, have tons of kids.
Have tons of kids, because the ultimate goal of this World Economic Forum, Bill Gates and George Soros and Klaus Schwab and all these idiots, they want depopulation. Okay? So if you're a good standing human, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, have lots of kids and raise them with good values and against this machine. And just like always, good and great are the enemies of possible. Remember that always. Share the shit out of this episode. We were dropping some major truth today. At least we think it's our truth anyway.
We love it.
Share this episode. Lead like a Spartan today.